Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So today we're going to look at Davos, man, more commonly known as the World Economic Forum, of course. And we're going to look at history again and another book that I enjoy very much. And it's entitled Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. And I think Davos men fits right into popular delusions, especially with their climate change agenda. So that's what we're going to look at today. Before I do, or we do, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this channel. My introduction says that I'm the home of alternative economics and contrarian views. What does that really mean? Of course, a lot of you know already, but for those of you who are new to the channel, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you like my videos. If you like them, of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you hit the little notification bell. So back to the theme of my channel and the introduction that I always make. Well, alternative economics is basically nothing to do with politics, left or right. It's to do with the antidote for the current economic system that we have. Have had, I would say, for almost 100 years, and that's the system of government intervention, corporatism, the welfare state. It's where government is always involved. Government always intervenes to try to stop business cycles. Government intervenes to tell the public what to do, help people from cradle to grave, which is the welfare state, start wars to help the big corporations. So what's the antidote? Well, the antidote is small government, non-interference in the markets, non-interference in the individual's life. And some people might say, but that's never been tried before. I beg to differ. I would say the United States, prior to 1913, when the Federal Reserve was created, was pretty much a free country where government was relatively small. There's very little taxation, and there was no like welfare or the New Deal. So the major proponent, the major economic school that proposes this kind of world of small government, respect for private property and the individual, is the Austrian School of Economics. And the current system that we have is not free market or capitalism. It's a Keynesian system. And the other big thing about the current system is that just like it tries to control everything, it tries to control the money as well through central banks. The system, or not even the system, the world that I envision wouldn't have central banks. It would be all decentralized. So that's the alternative economics. What about the contrarian views? Well, I think, yes, it's the fact that I try to think for myself and look at things in a common sense way and not go with the crowd, with the topic of the day that you listen to on mainstream media. That's how I try to be. Anyway, back to the World Economic Forum, to Davos men and extraordinary popular delusions and the madness of crowds. And one might say it's the extraordinary elite illusions, right? This climate change religion. And I'm going to recommend you watch a video interview I did with an astrophysicist and geoscientist, Dr. Willie Soon, about 2 weeks ago. if you're in doubt about climate change and uh, how carbon dioxide might be bad for the environment, um, this doctor here, Dr. Willie Soon, he worked at Harvard for 25 years. He left last year because he didn't want to do this procedure. But he goes all through all of it. If you don't believe me, I'm sure a lot of you, of course, are aware that this climate change thing is just a religion trying to gain control of the general public. You know, a group of well, the Davos men, the oligarchy of the world, trying to form a one world government. And you could argue that is a kakistocracy, not an oligarchy. Kakistocracy is the rule by the worst in society, I would say, and that's what we have. But yeah, listen to that interview. So let's go back to Davos Men and this book here. So this book was written, I think, in the 1840s by Charles Mackay. As you can see, Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. And he talks about periods in the last few hundred years where people have gone mad and they've done things that, you know, and usually it's led, of course, by the kakistocracy, I would say. So yes, it becomes a popular delusion, but it's really, I would say, an elite delusion, and we've got the same today. So the first extraordinary popular delusion he talks about is the Mississippi scheme in France back in the 1620s, which was, of course, kicked off by John Law, who was part of the elite. He created the central bank, the Banque de France at the time, right? So he talks about the Mississippi scheme, the Mississippi bubble. Then he talks about the South Sea bubble in the UK, in this country in which I am, which I'm in. And it also originated from the government trying to soften the blow of debt. That's how the South Sea bubble also started. Then you have the tulipomania that happened in Holland, of course, or in the Netherlands, and that's when tulips became like a bit like cryptocurrencies. They became worth a lot of money, and they used to trade these. You know, people used to give their daytime jobs to just speculate in tulips. That sounds familiar with Bitcoin and crypto, in my opinion. Um, am I saying cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is a delusion? I think so. I think so. I'm going to get a lot of hate from some people, but I don't care. So the tulipomania. Then we have the alchemists. So who were the alchemists? Well, they were people who thought they could turn lead into gold, right? The modern prophecies, fortune telling, the magnetizers, influence of politics and religion on the hair and beard, the crusades, the witch mania, the slow poisoners, haunted houses, popular follies of great cities, popular admiration of great thieves, duels and ordeals, and relics, the religious relics. You know, people believed in those, that they actually got a piece of some hair from a saint, and that it would help them or something. That's the relic. So I would say that the fear of carbon dioxide and this climate change religion really is one of these popular delusions. And yes, an extraordinary popular delusion. And it is the madness of crowds because these people have control of a lot of the media, a lot of academia. So they have brainwashed the majority of the public into thinking that this is a problem and that the world's going to end if we don't stop drinking coffee. And that's what I wanted to come to, because it's what really made me want to do this video today. And I'm going to share this with you because now it's very dangerous, apparently, to drink coffee. It's going to end the world if we drink too much coffee. And so I'm going to play this for you, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this guy. So let's listen to it.
We'll be having our coffee before the session, and you raised the coffee example. I'd love just to give you the chance to expand on that.
Basically, the coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. So we should all know that this is every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere. One of the reasons is because most of the coffee plantation or most of the coffee is produced through monoculture, and monoculture is also affected by climate change. The quality of these nature assets is deteriorating quite rapidly.
So there you go. By the way, I'm drinking my coffee today on my Maneko, in my Maneko 64 mug. So who was that guy? Well, I looked into him. His name is Hubert. That's the French pronunciation, or Hubert Keller. And he's the top managing partner for a very exclusive and old Geneva private bank called Lombard Odier Darriere Hench. They've been around for over 200 years. And it's amazing how serious he was, talking about the fact that we're going to end the world if we keep drinking coffee. I would be concerned if I had a lot of money with that bank. I think they managed like 200 billion Swiss francs. I would be very concerned if I had a lot of money, hundreds of millions or whatever, which I don't, of course, and I had this guy managing my money. I would be taking my money out of that bank, PDQ. So it's amazing. He wasn't joking, as you saw by the clip. He was very serious. So that's my example for this week of Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Davos Men. So I'm going to try to keep finding more of these examples, and maybe make some more videos in the future about this. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So I think it's worrying, all joking aside, that the people who are supposedly the captains of industry, the captains of politics, captains of media, captains of academia are all part of this delusion. I don't think it bodes well, and that's why I think we need to batten down the hatches, and that's why I keep talking about having some of your, or it depends on your risk appetite, assets outside the system, through having gold and silver, of course, and through not having your savings or assets in this financial system, run by people like Hubert or Hubert Keller from Lombard Odier in Geneva. And so with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. So today I'm doing this video through Zoom, so I'm able to share stuff with you. I usually record it on my phone, so we can look here where the markets are. As you can see, we've got spot gold pretty much unchanged, just below 2030. High's been 32 and the low 22. Silver has been encouraging. Yesterday, it was up over 1%. It outperformed gold. And today, again, we're outperforming gold. So maybe silver is out of the woods. Maybe silver is going to start leading the precious metals, which would be encouraging. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. You can see silver's up another 17 cents right near the highs here. We've got the Dow futures up 50, NASDAQ up 103, S&P up 18. You look at the currencies, sterling is up 0.2, just above 127, as you can see here. We got the euro 108.71, dollar yen, dollar's down 0.5%, bit of volatility there in that exchange rate. The Swiss franc as well is a little stronger, where the dollar is a bit weaker there, and the dollar is unchanged versus the yuan. And we've got crude oil here up 0.5%, the US WTI at 74.70, and Brent also up 0.4%. And we'll skip over to the Treasury market, so you can see where I look at these things. It's on investing.com. We've got the 2-year note yield down 2.5 basis points at 4.32. The 10 years at 4.10, down 4 basis points. And of course, I am in London. It's 8:30 a.m. Or 8:27 a.m. London time. And you'd think, how can treasuries be trading right now? Well, because treasuries have been trading for almost 30 years, 24/7. They trade over the counter. Treasuries, and they trade in all the major financial centers of the world. They're trading in Asia overnight. They're now trading in London and Europe. So that's how important treasuries are. And just before we finish, just want to look at this. Donald Trump beat Nikki Haley in New Hampshire. And I think this is another extraordinary popular delusion. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was listening and reading about the fact that there were even Democrats who gave up their party affiliation to register as Republicans in New Hampshire to vote for Nikki Haley, because they're so, how can I say, worried that Trump is going to win, that they will participate in the Republican primary. It's just crazy. And the fact that billionaire Republicans or billionaire liberal Democrats are giving money to Nikki Haley. Apparently the founder of LinkedIn, some guy Hoffman, he's given a lot of money to Nikki Haley. Even Stan Druckenmiller is given, a guy who I thought had more sense in his head, has given money to Nikki Haley. Am I saying Trump is good? No, but he's not like, he didn't destroy the world when he was president. Actually, we didn't have wars. But they seem to be so deluded that they need to get rid of him. I think that's another popular delusion. And so let's finish off here. I think in maybe not even in 10 or 20 years, but very soon, the World Economic Forum, the globalists, this climate agenda, it's going to be part, they might be able to include it in this book, maybe make another edition, or maybe some, the author, of course, is not around anymore, but maybe I'll write a book about the the extraordinary popular delusions of Davos men. So with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good day. Take care. Bye.